Welcome to the Fresh Mint Takes, where we explore the future of oral care, wellness, and sustainability. I'm your host, Xander Huff, with Dr. Jordan Harper, where we're diving into our first episode by introducing you to ENML, their groundbreaking product, the ENML Toothpaste tablet. In each episode, we'll discuss oral health tips, the science behind our products, and the journey of creating a luxury brand committed to sustainability. We'll also feature guests, interviews with experts in dental health, wellness, and eco-friendly practices. We now welcome to the show, Dr. Jordan Harper. Awesome. Good deal. Listen, the product is fantastic. I use it all the time.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it.
Thank you.
All right, so Dr. Harper, we have got some questions for you today that we're going to run through. Just want this to be as comfortable for you as possible. The viewers are going to love it, and so we're going to jump right in. Can you share the story behind the creation of ENML?
Yeah, so it actually started at the world-famous Crab Island on my boat last summer with Kyle visiting in town. And he pitched the idea to me that we should start a toothpaste company, and I was like, what? A toothpaste company? No, there's a million toothpaste companies. Why don't we start a toothpaste company? And then he went on to begin to describe some of the things that I'm sure we'll get into today about what was lacking in the market, and I started to agree with him. And so over the coming weeks, we continued to have the discussion, and then we kind of looked at each other and said, well, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't do this. And so we started ordering samples from various manufacturers and kind of started the process of starting our own toothpaste company.
I love it. I love it. What inspired you to combine wellness with sustainability in oral care?
So the way sustainability came about was I read an article that discussed all the toothbrushes, toothpaste tubes that you have ever touched in your lifetime, and you and I are young, are still in existence on planet Earth, which is like mind-boggling. And I, as a dentist, think about, how many of these things I give out in goodie bags and that type of thing to my patients every single day. And it's like, when you think about what that accumulation of waste looks like, it's a lot. And I'm just one solo practitioner in my dental practice. And so for me, it was like, holy smokes, something's got to give, something's got to change, right? And so that's where we really started to focus on how could we create packaging that's fully recyclable, but mostly reusable, right, in our glass jar format. And then, down the pipeline, working on toothbrushes that are sustainable as well, with bamboo heads and that type of thing, to try and get away from the plastics, because the microplastics is a huge topic of research right now in the science community. And how it is, affecting the environment, leaching into the water supply, and ultimately being reuptaken by our bodies.
All right, how does ENML aim to shift oral care from a mundane routine to a self-care ritual?
So brushing teeth has always been something, and I'm guilty of this, right? I'm a dentist. You brush your teeth twice a day because the dentist told you to, right? And people getting told what to do, people really don't like that. And what we're trying to emphasize is like, look, most people probably shower once a day, and they brush, wash their hair and wash their body, right? And so you do that as part of your self-care routine to keep yourself socially presentable and acceptable and all these things, right? And arguably your most important feature on your body is your teeth. That is the first thing everyone notices when they look at you and interact with you in social settings. And so our goal is to shift this idea of this clinical, medical-based, brush your teeth twice a day because the dentist tells you to more of a, hey, look, like, this is a self-care ritual. This is something you need to be doing to better yourself every single day, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have good teeth, you're not getting the nutrients that your body needs because you're not getting the bolus of food small enough for your body to absorb. Your appearances can be affected. That brings in self-esteem issues, which brings a whole litany of other factors. And so we're trying to get it to where, hey, look, we're telling you to brush your teeth to make yourself more beautiful, to make yourself take care of yourself, right? And that's what we're trying to shift with this product, is really make it about, keeping the end consumer as healthy as possible.
You still recommend twice a day?
Absolutely, that doesn't change. It's just not me standing over the patient telling them to do it. It's like, really think this through and how you'd want to take care of yourself.
Can you explain what hydroxyapatite is and why it's important for oral health?
Absolutely. So most people have never heard of this term. everyone equates calcium to the bones, right? And there is calcium in your teeth, but the major component of your enamel is a mineral called hydroxyapatite. And the significance of hydroxyapatite is it makes up 97% of your enamel. That's what makes your enamel so hard. The enamel is the hardest substance in the human body. And so with our unique ingredient, microhydroxyapatite, we have gotten the molecule small enough so that it can be reabsorbed, reuptaken, fill all the little porosities in the tooth that create sensitivity from the dentin inside the tooth, so that sensitivity gets decreased. You get protection against cavities without needing all the extra ingredients that a fluoride-based product needs. And that's where microhydroxyapatite really stands out. It was actually invented by NASA in the 70s, but it was cost prohibitive to manufacture, so it never really caught on.
And then what are the key features of the hydroxyapatite toothpaste tablet that set it apart from traditional toothpaste?
So key features as far as, I'll speak to the tablet bit first. The tablet bit is super travel friendly, right? It's all TSA approved. It's waterless product, right? So you're not having to move around a tube of toothpaste that has water in it. So there's decreased weight. So it's great for travel in that regard. You don't have to think about, I'm going on a trip, I need a little small tube of toothpaste that fits TSA's regulations. So that aspect is awesome. The other aspect that's awesome is cleanliness. If you've got kids at home, there's no more toothpaste being squeezed out all over the counter and all over the sink and everything else to clean up. It's much easier to kind of with the tablet format. Yeah. And then the hydroxyapatite piece is based on my last answer. The hydroxyapatite is the key component that allows toothpaste to work, right? The reason we called the company Enamel and we removed the unnecessary vowels out is because we literally stripped the unnecessary compounds out of toothpaste. For fluoride to work, it needs all these other extraneous things. Microhydroxyapatite's not that way. So we're able to, remove all the excess ingredients, only have natural components to make the most kind of, healthy and very beneficial product as possible.
You want to show the camera the tablets?
Absolutely. Yeah. So here's our jar, and we wanted to do something that looked, super premium, something that you would like. Most people hide their toothpaste in a drawer somewhere. We wanted it to be something that was elegant, beautiful. You wouldn't mind leaving out on your counter. And so we want very attention to detail with embossing with our logo, which is actually 4 teeth blended together. Some people see that, some people don't. But then here is kind of an example of what one of our tablets looks like. It's got our name punched in there. It's kind of like the perfect dose of toothpaste. And so we just think it's something that the market's never seen before, and it's really going to change the game in how we think about toothpaste.
Why is hydroxyapatite considered a superior alternative to fluoride?
So there's a multitude of reasons that hydroxyapatite is better. The main reason that we want to point out is fluoride. Does fluoride work? Of course it works, right? But there's something better out there. Microhydroxyapatite doesn't need all the additional phosphate calcium reactions. There's actually a chemical reaction going on when you brush your teeth with fluoride. That's not necessary with microhydroxyapatite. You're literally brushing your teeth with your teeth. And when you think about it that way, it's really enlightening to me, where it's like, oh my God, this really changes the game as far as, what we're offering and what this product does. And I think, patients will really resonate with that, when they realize that, hey, we don't need all this extraneous chemical stuff. We don't need a poison that's registered on the FDA list of poisons anymore in our toothpaste. And we can brush with something that's naturally occurring.
How does hydroxyapatite work to remineralize teeth and reduce sensitivity?
In decrease in sensitivity, I'll touch on that point first. It does that by if you look at a cross section of a tooth, when you get inside past the enamel, there's something called dentin. Dentin is the sensitive area of a tooth, and that's what people that typically complain about sensitivity, that's the area of the tooth that's really causing the problems, right? And lots of people in the world have sensitive teeth. And so if you look at it under an electron microscope, there's millions of these little tubes, and those tubes are fluid filled, and as that fluid moves, it stimulates the nerve inside the tooth, and that generates the sensitivity. Well, the way microhydroxyapatite works is it will basically come in, rebond to those surfaces and occlude those tubes so that you're basically refilling those dental tubules with that hydroxyapatite, simulating what would be the same effect of putting enamel back on top of the tooth, right? Hence the name of our product. And so with that occlusion of those dental tubules with the hydroxyapatite, you're basically decreasing sensitivity because the water isn't moving. And so if that water doesn't move, the nerve doesn't get stimulated, and sensitivity decreases. And I've had, tons of patients, that have had our samples as we were testing and trying out this product, that have sensitive teeth and like, oh my God, my teeth are not sensitive. So that's a really cool part. As far as the mineralization component goes, your tooth, as the bacterial byproducts, which is acid that creates cavities, as that works in your mouth, it creates little micro fissures and pits and cracks and crevices and that type of thing in the teeth. And the cavities got to get to a certain extent before we as dentists need to go in and treat it with a filling or a crown or whatnot, depending on how bad the decay is. And if we catch that process early enough, the microhydroxyapatite will actually be reuptaken into those areas and help remineralize the tooth and strengthen it against cavities.
I think I was one of your many patients that were beating down the doors trying to get this product. Because I've got super sensitive teeth, and I'm not kidding. I came in, I think it was like 2 weeks ago after I've used the entire product twice. I'm like, hey, I need more. And it, is not available yet for purchase, which I've been really thankful that I've got to try it out. So it's been awesome. It's been great.
Yeah. Good now.
All right. Any specific studies or research for the support of effectiveness of hydroxyapatite?
Back to the discussion, harking back to earlier when you asked me how we founded enamel and Kyle pitched the idea on my boat. One of the big things I was like, I get in trouble to become a dentist, and so a lot of emphasis on science and research and all these types of things. And so that was the first thing I did, is I started researching it, because I was a noob. I didn't know what microhydroxyapatite was. I didn't know, the history of this product. So as I started doing my research, and I found there was 2 big studies that finished up in 2023 that were basically comparing the effectiveness of microhydroxyapatite to the effectiveness of fluoride in 2 forms. One was sensitivity and one was preventing cavities. And in both instances, the studies clearly stated in the conclusion that, it is just as effective, if not more effective, than fluoride. And as soon as I read those, bona fide scientific studies by reputable researchers in the dental community, I was sold. I was like, all right, so this compound is legit, right? And that kind of sold me on, the world needs more of this. We need to transition from a fluoride, preventative oral care community to something that is microhydroxyapatite based.
Now, let me ask you this. Obviously, everything that's in the market, there's a great aspect to it and a bad aspect to it. What are potential risks associated with fluoride as opposed to what hydroxyapatite offers?
The risks we see with fluoride, and I'll touch a little bit on the studies that they're starting to be done. They're not done yet, so you can't really comment on what the negative effects, the deleterious effects of fluoride will be long term yet. But ingestion of fluoride is a problem if you ingest too much, right? For adults, it's not really an issue. For kids, it becomes the issue, right? So you get a lot of moms coming into the practice with young kids, and they're concerned about, their kids ingesting the fluoride toothpaste and all that type of stuff. And so that is where I see kind of the key is, hey, look, limiting the ingestion of fluoride, well, we can completely eliminate from that equation. We'll be coming out with our child's line here soon. And so we'll have, a kid's version of this great toothpaste that's microhydroxyapatite based. And if the kids instantly swallow some, there's no harm, right? You're not going to have any deleterious effects. And so some of the concerns is just if you ingest too much of it, there can be some issues systemically by ingesting too much fluoride, which is why the FDA has labeled it on the poison registry. The
other part of the question was comparatively to how hydroxyapatite avoids those issues.
Again, it's naturally occurring. It's already in your body, right? You could swallow, I'm not saying go swallow a gallon of our toothpaste, right? But like you could go swallow a bunch of hydroxyapatite and it's not gonna do a big deal, It may upset your stomach because your stomach's not used to that, but it's not going to poison you. And that's the key. Everything is naturally occurring, safe to swallow. If you accidentally swallow it, it's not a big deal.
All right, and last question from this section. How does hydroxyapatite align with Enamel's commitment to natural and holistic oral care?
So using hydroxyapatite, I really think for the first time, people are gonna have a choice when it comes to their oral care, right? So, for decades, most people use the exact same toothpaste since they were a kid, right? They grab the same random tube off the shelves, and they've been using that same tube for their entire lives. And if you go look and compare it to all the other branded toothpastes that are out there, the major branded toothpastes are all fluoride-based, right? And so we're trying to change that game by giving people a choice in their oral care, right? You don't have to brush with the same junk you've been brushing with for your entire life. You have other options out there, right? Other great options that, are going to totally change the way you view toothpaste. And toothpaste is one of those things that I feel like, as I've had discussions with patients, and we're hoping with this we can be a market disruptor and really let me think about this for a second, right? Because no one really sits down and compares it. Again, they just grab the same thing they've always grabbed. And so I think for the first time, people are going to have a clear choice. And when they see when they taste our product, use our product, they see how superior it is to what they've been using, it's a no-brainer.
Dr. Harper, aside from this being your product, how does enamel elevate the oral care experience?
The way I feel like enamel changes the game, and a lot of it's done, honestly, it's like we're trying to make it your morning ritual, your evening ritual, right? And when you grab this jar, we want you to be thinking like, wow, I'm staying at a 5-star hotel, and we want the premium product to kind of exude in your bathroom, right? And make you feel like, wow, I really am taking great care of myself, and the experience that the consumer's going to have when they use it is reflected as well in the packaging, because I think people are going to realize, oh my gosh, my teeth have never felt this clean. We get that statement all the time. And so I really think it's just a way that these little tiny details matter so much in that ritualistic experience of feeling like, man, I woke up and I feel like I just got to the spa, and that's going to help change people's mindset. Oh, I've got to get my crummy tube of toothpaste out and squirt it on my brush, right? We want people to feel that like, whoa, this is a really nice thing. I love picking up and grabbing my enamel every morning. I love grabbing my enamel before I go to bed at night. We want that to get into people's heads.
Touch on the glass jar. Why glass jar?
The key for us when we started this whole thing was to make everything recyclable and sustainable, right? And the concept that really sold us was doing more of a glass jar that's reusable, an aluminum lid. And if you decide, hey, look, I want a new one, cool, it's still recyclable product. But the concept we want is, hey, we buy one of these one time, it just sits on your counter, looks gorgeous, and then your monthly refills come in a little recyclable pouch. You simply dump them in, the pouch is recyclable, you recycle that away with your recycling carrier, and that's it. And you're not having to buy and get the glass jar and the aluminum lid again. So again, it's back to that sustainability piece. We're not filling up landfills with toothpaste holders,
Customer testimonials. What have you heard? What have you seen? What are people saying?
The biggest thrill is the person that uses it for the first time. And I've had a few use it in front of me, and you see it in their eyes. It's like a light bulb goes off, and they're like, what is this? And then the questions start. And then, ranging all the way from sensitivity to my mouth's never felt this clean to, a myriad of compliments on our product and how it's different from regular toothpaste. And so for me, I get excited because this truly is going to change the game. We just got to get it in people's hands. So it really is a game-changing product. And I love hearing people's feedback for the first time, because it's honestly, amazing to get the feedback. And most people's initial reaction after doing the first time, I'll get a text and go, oh my God, I just tried this. Holy smokes, where can I get more? And I'm like, give me time. We're making it. So it's been really fun to develop, develop this product. And
now, did you use any tablet toothpaste prior to this?
0. So fun fact, I'm a dentist of 10 years. When Kyle talked to me about this, he was like, I want to create a toothpaste tablet. And I'm like, what's a toothpaste tablet? And so I had no idea tablets already existed. I'd never even heard of something like that, And so that kind of took me aback, and I was like, whoa, I'm a dentist. I consider myself a good dentist. I do all this CE every year. How did I not know about toothpaste tablets? And as soon as he said that, my cogs started spinning. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm a dentist and I think about teeth all day, every day, and I haven't heard about it, the general public, there's hundreds of millions, if not billions of people that have never heard of this. And once you try it, use it, get the benefits of it, I told Kyle, I said, look, we need to be the Q-tip for cotton swab. We need to be the Kleenex for facial tissue. And I want ENML to be the tablet toothpaste.
So what was your first reaction when you first used one of the tablets?
So my first reaction was, okay, it's different. For 36 years, I've been brushing my teeth like everyone else with paste and a brush, right? By the second day, I was hooked because I realized how convenient it was. And I've been using it now for over 6 months, samples. But, it's just one of those things that once you get used to it, there's no going back. I mean, like, I've still got tube toothpaste sitting in my drawer that I don't touch because it's like, why would I use that? This is inferior. And so it definitely takes an adjustment, when you pop the tablet in and chew it a few times. That's not something you've typically done in your life, but when you add that to your routine, it really does change the game of taking care of yourself.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on this journey. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Minty Fresh Takes and ENML Tooth Tabs for behind the scenes content and updates. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, follow along, share it, leave a review. Together, we can transform oral care into an enjoyable and sustainable experience. Thank you.